Hi, homeschoolers. I'm Heather. Welcome to another Homeschool Live presented by the Old Schoolhouse. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Today, I will be interviewing Nick Huffman of the Compass College of Cinematic Arts. And both Nick and I would be extremely grateful if you could take a minute right now and share this video on your timeline. Send it to anyone that you know with children interested in filmmaking. I know this is a growing interest among many homeschoolers, so let your friends know, especially ones with teenagers. Please also comment, like, and feel free to ask questions. And now I am really looking forward to introducing you today to Nick. Nick probably joined the Compass College of Cinematic Arts team 6 months ago. He is the manager of recruiting. And Nick's history is in the entertainment industry, where he has worked for over 15 years. After getting his start when he graduated from the American Musical Dramatic Academy in New York City, Nick has worked extensively throughout the music industry as well as the theater world. As an advocate for the arts, Nick has spent 5 years as a touring musician and has written music featured in both movies and TV shows. He believes education is the cornerstone that gave him the proper foundation to succeed in such a highly competitive world. Thank you so much for joining us today, Nick.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Heather.
I would love if you could just give us a brief overview of the Compass College of Cinematic Arts.
Yeah, absolutely. So Compass College of Cinematic Arts, we are a faith-based school that focuses exclusively on cinema. So we go at it a little bit different than your normal universities or colleges, where we believe more of instead of a theory-based, more experiential learning. So our students come in, they're creative types. And so what we like to do is, as well as a classroom education, we do a lot of hands-on right from freshman year when they get in. We have classes where we like to say that they go downstairs and they learn the process of how to use things, how to do things, and then they spend the afternoon upstairs actually doing it, working with lighting, working with cameras, everything along those lines.
That's incredible. I know when I was in college, it was a Christian school, but, it was a lot of classroom stuff. And, maybe you could get one class that was hands-on or one semester where you were broad hands-on, but not an entire school dedicated to that type of teaching. So that's incredible.
Yeah.
So I would love to give the viewers just a picture of what your college looks like. So I would love to see the video. And this is going to show us just an overview of the Compass College of Cinematic Arts.
Some say college isn't for everyone. Taking notes in giant lecture halls, learning theories and by-the-book methods, studying into the night. Compass College of Cinematic Arts is for creators, dreamers, and innovators. Our hands-on learning approach equips you for a future in one of the fastest growing industries. In the end, you won't just own a degree, you'll own the screen.
Wow. So if somebody's interested in attending your college, are there any prerequisites that they would need?
No, we do not have any formal prerequisites. We do have a unique application process. But what we find is creative types that are interested in going into film, interested in having a future in the arts, usually already tinker around with programs that we use with cameras, especially with technology nowadays. Cameras are very advanced on cell phones, and a lot of things can be done there. So that creative itch is already there, and they carry that around with them wherever they go. No prerequisites. A lot of students, especially the homeschool students, at least here in Michigan, and I know across the country, there are different technical schools that offer classes once or twice a week and have film programs or AV clubs, things along those lines. If they find those, and really gets them going in the right direction.
Okay. Now, sometimes homeschoolers might graduate a little younger than traditional school students. What's the youngest age that you'll accept at your college?
17.
Okay. All right. That's pretty standard, I think. So how do you think Compass can help homeschoolers?
I think that Compass does great work with homeschoolers as it is. Surprisingly, 25% of our student body are homeschool students.
Wow.
When it comes to the creative type in general, whether it be homeschool or whether it be in a traditional style classroom or public school system, the way that the creative mind works is that hands-on is what they're itching for. And so coming to our school and getting that experience really helps. And on top of that, as a college, the only thing that we do is we offer an associate's degree and a bachelor's degree. Cinema is all we do. So the community that's here it's not a very large school, so it's very intimate. We like to keep it to a 10-to-1 ratio, students to faculty members. And then when you compound that with the fact that the people that come here are all of a similar mindset, they have the same end goal. Everyone wants to, whether it be work in commercials, whether it be work in movies, everyone wants to push in the same direction. So even from a homeschool environment, when everyone's rowing the boat in the same direction, it makes assimilating to a new experience a lot easier.
Right. And I laugh because, I was describing my homeschooling style, which is very hands-on. We basically call it farm schooling. So we have a lot of hands-on approaches to how we do our education, which isn't very traditional. And one friend said, man, when your kids get to college, they're going to say, what is this? But I laugh because if, they were to go to a school like this, they would be right in their element. So I just think it's great that there's opportunities like this out there. A lot of kids who, like you said, they're already dabbling in it before school, college, if this is what they're interested anyway. So being with like-minded students and teachers and to help them is just incredible.
Yeah.
I would love to know, as a freshman entering into the college, what courses generally will they take? It's not just cinema courses. There's also the core classes because you're receiving a bachelor's, right?
Yep. So it is a bachelor's degree program. So all the general studies classes are there. But we kind of do a little different than, say, a standard university. If you were going for film studies or a degree in cinematic arts, whereas the traditional standpoint is year one, year two, all you're doing is your general studies to make sure those classes are taken care of. And then into your junior and your senior year is when you really start focusing on your major, working with equipment and actually making films. We kind of see that as backwards in the sense of, well, maybe not even backwards, but a bit outdated. We want our students taking those general studies classes as well. But even as a freshman, you're already taking classes that are to do with editing film, lighting, how to operate on a set. So even when you're taking your math, your science, your history, you're also learning and getting that on-set experience, because we believe as we put our graduates out there, we want them to have 4 years of experience of actually doing what they want to do. Helps keep them engaged, makes them more well-rounded. And on top of that, it's a better overall experience we find for them to have.
I feel like this is revolutionary. I mean, I really feel like this is an incredible approach to education, because if you go to a traditional college, you get your prerequisites or, your core classes done the first 2 years. And then, what do I want my major to be? Maybe I want to switch majors. There's no clarity there. And so when they come to this school, they know what they want. They know what they need to take. And you get them there using all the courses. I love it.
And just as an example, because you brought up freshman year, day one, even in our first semester of freshman year, we have what's called the core shoot. So as a class, you're taking English classes, which are predicated and revolving around screenwriting, things along those lines. You create a story as a class, and then you take that story from concept all the way to getting ready to film that. So our core shoot, what we do in that first semester is we bring in alumni, we bring in our faculty to work with the students in that first semester to create a 5-minute film that they took from concept to screen right there in that first semester. So it's definitely something that is good for them and they like.
Yeah, and it builds confidence, and they know this is what they want to do, or maybe they realize this is not what they want to do, but it shows them what they're getting into, and I think that's incredible.
Yeah, exactly. We just actually, our freshmen that came in the spring just shot their core shoot last week.
Oh, That's incredible. I love it. So you had mentioned that your school is faith-based.
Yeah.
I would love to hear how that's incorporated. Is is there a specific Bible class that's taught, or is it just integrated in each course, or is there a chapel, or how do you express your faith in the college?
Yeah, faith-based is something that's very important to us. We feel like it revolves mostly around integrity. Faith-based students have, but we have students from all different walks of faith and different beliefs. But we have religious courses out there that are required to be taken. But at the same time, even those, we don't let that opportunity be lost in the sense of our end mission of being good people, good values. But really, as a cinematic college and teaching storytelling, there really is no better story that's ever been told than the Bible. That was the first one. And you look at all the different concepts of film, all the different good versus evil, jealousy, all these things were already said once before. And it's all derivative from that. We also have a life group that meets once a week that go over different topics, different things that are keeping people down, but also creating a sense of community and helping through faith. So yeah, faith is a very important part of our school.
I was wondering if you could give parents one piece of advice right now, what would that be?
That's a big one. Would be trust your children. If you have a child that is a creative type that really wants to do this, there is a thought notion out there that, okay, well, what is my child going to do with this degree? Go to Hollywood, anything along those lines. So there is skepticism around parents, but my advice to them would be do research. When you look right now at the trajectory of growth rate in industry, the film industry is 5 times the projected average growth rate, just because of how much content is being put out there in the different facets, whether it be commercials, whether it be tutorials, whether it be movies, whether it be all these different streaming services. And when you look at the fact of what COVID did, is it shut down everything. All the shooting had to stop for an extended period of time. But when you think about it from the other side of the coin, is who else had to stay home were the writers.
Wow.
That's their job. So you look at all of these projects that were already greenlit, and now you take all the talented writers of the world, tell them they have to stay home. What do you think they do? So
I never thought of it that way. That's incredible.
So they've written all new things, and then those have gone to the studio. So now as we're kind of discovering this new world outside of post-COVID, are we in post-COVID, but things are starting to get shot again. There is so much work out there. And what this has done for the streaming services as they've multiplied, it feels like there's 50 different streaming services that are all creating content. So jobs are out there, and they're good paying jobs. And so if you have a son or a daughter or a person that wants to go into the film industry, there is a lot of work to be done, and it's rewarding, and there's something to be said for following a dream.
And do you feel like having a bachelor's can get them into a lot of these avenues that you mentioned, the streaming services, or, I mean, there might be things that pop up in the next couple of years that we've never even heard of. This could be a completely new market.
Or having a bachelor's degree it's almost become mandatory in the industry, unless your uncle knows somebody who knows somebody, but those people don't get rehired. The fact of how we set up our courses is you never know what your first job's going to be. So if we give you 4 years of learning how to do things, being comfortable with everything, when you get onto that set, you have the work ethic that you need, the integrity, and the knowledge on how to do it. So our students, when they graduate, go out into the industry, and we have an 85% graduation rate, 84% initial employment out of graduation, and
Wow.
which is awesome. But the biggest thing is getting rehired. You can always get that first job, but getting that second job and third job and moving forward is what we like to prepare our students for, a life in the industry.
So essentially they're an independent contractor and they're basically trying to find clients is how it works in this industry, or?
Ways. I mean, we've had students that go out into the industry and they get a job, and yes, they would operate as an independent contractor, but we also have plenty of students that have left and started their own production companies where they make content for different schools, businesses, things along those lines. So it's kind of like owning your own business and having clients come to you. Another huge sect is as all of these churches, these big, large churches, mega churches, if you will, they all stream their services. They all have elaborate sound, elaborate lights, play mass every single day, and the big one on Sunday. That takes a production company to do as well. And having an education, having the experience, and having a degree in cinematography and Bachelors of Fine Arts is the way to do that and getting there.
Do you see any students coming into your school with maybe they're coming from a mega church, or they have a company in mind that is in need of these services and they're trying to fulfill that need, and then they go back and help them?
Yeah, we have students that come from all different walks of life. We've run into people that have someone that's good at it but want to get better, so they send them here almost as a work apprenticeship, but still getting your degree. So we have definitely run into that. Yeah.
What do you see as the biggest challenge when it comes to teaching cinematic arts right now?
The biggest challenge is COVID. It caused, we were blessed to be able to stay. We are a smaller college, so we don't have as many students. We followed strict health guidelines, health screen at the door, everything along those lines. But aside from when Michigan went into full shutdown for colleges, we offered those classes. We had to do classes online, but as soon as we were able to have the students back in, we had them back in, because when you set up your whole school to be experiential learning, it's really tough when you can't experience the learning. But we have incredible faculty that did a number of very cool things. Again, going back to the point that students, a cell phone is a very powerful tool, where we would do different challenges. So we would take 3 objects that we know are in the house, and every student had to make a 3-minute film on their phone, edit it. And so they're still doing the work. They're still telling stories and things along those lines, and getting some of that experience. But we're really happy to have everybody back.
I just think it's so funny. And it's true that the cell phones are just as good, if not better, than a decent camera. I spent a couple $100s on a camera just a few years ago. And my son said, "Mom, your phone takes way better pictures." I'm like, I spent so much money on that. And but things are just constantly changing, and you just never know where it's going to go. And I was just having a conversation with my son today, and I'm not going to mention the name of the big YouTuber, but 10 years ago, 20 years ago, I never would have dreamed that you could make money on YouTube. But I remember watching a YouTuber not that long ago, and he quit his really nice, cushy job, to start a YouTube channel, and also basically start their own production company as well. And they were getting clients. And so this is definitely an interesting and excellent avenue. And if there are parents watching who your kid is really into the arts and very creative, this might be, for them. And you're talking about how you have so many different types of students come in, and I can just picture how, if you have faith-based students, how I'm sure you see their faith coming through. Maybe they may not be very, charismatic but the way that they can express themselves is through the video. And so I'm sure you get to see a lot of their personality in the videos that they produce.
Yeah, absolutely.
How do you take that creativity I'm trying to figure out how to word this. So they have this creativity and they have these ideas of the types of videos that they want to do. How do you turn it into like a business? Like, how do you teach them to turn it into something that is going to benefit a client?
Mm-hmm. That comes in the junior and senior year. We have marketing classes, how to sell yourself, how to put a reel together, how to create a resume, how to get that job. But before that even happens, you got to start from a base level. One thing that we say is, and we impress it all the time, is that we create storytellers. We empower storytellers. And everything tells a story. The lighting design tells his own story. The costume designer tells his or her own story through the costumes in which they put together. So it's learning all the different skills that come along with it to be able to put all the story together. And then once you have all the skills that are there, then you can point it in a direction, because you never know what your first job's going to be. Right. Whether you're going to be working in the hospitality tent, whether you're going to be holding a boom mic, whether you're going to be in post-production, pre-production. You just have to know that you're ready, you're comfortable, you're confident, and you're ready to tell a story.
Wow, that's beautiful. So are there different avenues that different students can take, or do all students take the same courses? Or is there like a concentration if there's a specific job that they're looking for?
It all starts, everyone takes the same classes the first few years. And then into junior and senior year, you learn where you kind of want to be along the line, which is an industry term, on the line where you want to be, whether you want to be a camera operator, an editor, a screenwriter. So you start getting elective courses that go more in depth into the various levels of interest. Usually everybody that comes in wants to be a director. Everyone's ready to be Spielberg. There's only so many directing jobs out there. And as you learn the different intricacies of how much work and how many people it takes to create content, to create a film, to create even a 30-second commercial, the amount of hands it takes to make light work, you don't really understand what you love most about it until you get that basis over those first few years to do all of it. And then as your junior and senior year, we really let you focus in and hone in and give you those high level skills. So when you get out there, you're ready and you're prepared.
Wow. So you have an associate's degree program and a bachelor's degree program, correct?
Yep.
So could you explain maybe a little bit of the difference?
Yep. So the associate's degree is 2 years. It includes 500 hours of on-set time, which on-set time means that experiential learning, when you're actually doing the filming, when you're actually hands-on with those things. And what's pretty amazing about that is your standard university that does the theory-based of film cinematography, even with a bachelor's degree, you're averaging about 300 hours on set. So even our associate's program gives you more on hands-on learning. But going into the bachelor's program, that is 1,000 hours of on-set time.
Wow.
Also comes with a class that we help put together your resume, your reel, and we work really hard to help get our students internships. So part of their senior year is they go out into the world and apply for these internships where we have connections in LA, Las Vegas, Atlanta, New York, wow. Where they actually can go out there and they're actually going to be doing work. So that comes along with the bachelor's program. And a lot of our students get their first jobs off of the internship program. They come back and finish their degree program. And they say, well, as soon as you get that degree, come back. because there is a scoring system with colleges. If you send interns out there and the interns come back, they have to get graded. And we have an average of 91% grading on our interns when they get out there.
Wow.
And we like to think that that is because our students by then have had 3 years, over 700 hours of on-set. There's nothing foreign to them. They know how to do the job. And being located in Michigan and being a faith-based school, we're blue-collar people. We get up and we go to work, and we know how to do it, and we do it with integrity. And that's what we teach. And that's what these people out in the industry in LA, it's not something they're used to seeing.
Yeah.
Exactly. What their lunch pail says, what are we doing? And let's get to it. And that's why our people get hired and rehired. And we're so proud of all of our students.
No, I believe that. I mean, that's what employers are looking for. I mean, they're looking for dedicated workers. And so that's awesome. That's a great testimony. So our viewers here, if they have a graduating senior, then I'm sure then they can possibly apply for the upcoming fall semester, correct? You're right in the middle of your spring semester right now.
Yep. So our next entrance point would be the fall semester. And so anybody that would be interested in learning more or talking more about this opportunity can go to compass.edu. And you can request more information or do the first step of the application process. Luckily for you, all roads to those people that would do that would lead to me. So I would be the one that emails back and gives you a phone call, and we can talk a little bit more about the students' interests and kind of where they're at and what we can do for them.
All right. So compass.edu is where they would go. Are there any opportunities throughout the summer for students, or?
We do have a summer high school camp where in the middle of the summer, we have a week-long camp where students can come in and they get to use all of the professional grade equipment that our students work with on a daily basis. And kind of a lot like first semester, the core shoot, they create a story and take that story from concept to filming it to editing it at the end. So at the end of that camp, they actually have a 3 to 5 minute video that they made, and they had their hands on, get their fingerprints on what it's like to be in this industry.
That's great. So just to sum up, you are in Michigan.
Yes, Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Okay. And if anyone's interested, you can head over to compass.edu. Is there anything else you'd like to leave our viewers with?
No, Heather, I appreciate you having us. We love everything that you're doing. Homeschool students make up 25% of our whole campus. So you guys rock, and we appreciate it.
Thank you so much. That is incredible. Stephanie says 25% of the student body is huge, which it absolutely is. Well, it's been a pleasure. I know that we've all enjoyed hearing from you today, so thank you. And thank you, viewers, for joining us. If you're new to homeschooling, please check out the homeschoolingprimer.com, and you can get free information on how to help you get started on your homeschooling journey. And I also want to mention that we have a curriculum site, schoolhouseteachers.com, and you can head over there and find out what membership would work best for your family. And if you are interested in the Old Schoolhouse magazine, go to grabissue.com. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time on Homeschool Live. Bye.